Welcome back, D2 sports fans. It's another episode of the D2 Nation podcast. I am your host, Wayne Cavadi, and joining me, as always, is the great Bethany Bowman. This is our first February podcast. Welcome back, Bethany.
Thanks for having me back. Wow, crazy. It's already February.
I know, we're flying through these episodes. For me, the past weekend was a fun one because I got to go sit at some baseball fields. As you know, baseball is my favorite sport. I watched the opening day over at North Georgia as the Nighthawks played Lee. I was treated to two very good baseball teams. I expect both to be making some noise down the road, but we need to focus our attention because it's almost March, and that means basketball is on the mind.
Yep, it sure is. We are getting to crunch time. There's just one undefeated team remaining in D2 men's basketball, and most teams have very few games left to improve those postseason resumes. One team that is on absolute fire as of late is the Flagler Saints. Joining us today is one of the top scorers in D2 men's basketball, Flagler's own Jaizec Lottie and head coach Chad Warner. Welcome to the nation, guys.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Absolutely. We're excited you're here. There's so much to talk about with this program. Jaizec, so you're a little different story. We have a lot of like D2 student athletes from start to finish here, but you're a transfer, right? You came in from D1, you were at Arkansas Little Rock. You actually had a nice little 2019-20 season going. You're playing more than 20 minutes a game. Let's talk a little bit about what brought you to D2 and then Flagler specifically.
So, you know, my journey at Little Rock was it was a different one than most people would say. I got there my freshman year, and I loved the coach. I loved the atmosphere. But after my freshman year, my coach got fired. So a new guy came in. Second year, I broke my hand. I was playing with a broke hand all year. So I didn't have the season that I quite wanted to have. So that's why I decided to come back the third year. And the third year, me and the coach, we just didn't get along. And my second year there, my roommate, his name was Demir. He had transferred to Flagler. So I had always known about Flagler because he would always come and talk to me. And I would even talk to Coach Warner a little bit and Coach Sellon a little bit. So then after my third year at Little Rock, I was looking to transfer. And most people don't know this, but I had committed to Denver University. And I told all the schools, you know, I'm going to Denver. It's close to home. You know, I'm going to play home. And then like 2 months, I would say, before school, he called me, the head coach, and was like, I don't have a scholarship for you anymore. So I was out of luck. And so I texted my roommate and I was like, hey, you think Flagler would take me? He was like, here's my coach's number, hit him up. So I hit Coach Warner up. And I remember they had just got done playing pickup. And he was like, you know, we have a Zoom call tonight, but if you're serious, like we have one scholarship and we would love to take you. And so that's how I came to Flagler.
Coach, on a scale of the best decisions in your career, what's this one rank?
It's maybe number one. You know, it did work out for us really well. When we recruited Demir, I flew in to see Demir, and I do remember I knew they were roommates, and you know that kind of thing. Demir is like, oh, my roommate, he may not like it and this and that. And I said, well, we'll see if he does, you know, whatever, but never, you just don't really think about that. And so obviously we knew Jaizec was a good player. And I do remember checking my phone. I think we had someone in on the visit. I can't quite remember. I just remember getting my phone and checking it. And then our assistant checked it too. And I said, you're not going to believe Coach Sellon. I said, you're not going to believe who I just got a text from. And he said, is it Jaizec? He just texted me. I was like, oh my gosh. And so, and what's funny is when we did the Zoom, Coach Sellon had gotten COVID, and this was early in it, and no one knew what was going on. And I feel bad, you know, he's laid up at home, and I'm like, hey, we got a Zoom tonight. And he tells a story now. He's like, he says, quote, it's the only time in my career I've been mad at you, which is not true. I'm sure he's been mad at me more, but he was really upset because I was just like, I just didn't understand how sick he was, but you know, I had tunnel vision, and we had a great Zoom call that night. And, you know, I knew Jaizec, I knew he was a good basketball player, but what I told him, and he can attest to this, I said, listen, you know, we're coming off one of the better years we've ever had in this program. We have a point guard that played 38 minutes a game last year. You're going to have to come in and earn your minutes. I said, you know, but what you can bring to the table immediately is your leadership. And I did know he had just sort of a charisma about him, and I just trusted his leadership and had talked to it. Demir loved him, and Demir was a character young man. Like having a kid in our program who knew him well that I could trust helped a lot, because when you're recruiting, to me, the talent, sometimes you get it right, sometimes you don't, but you cannot miss on the character. And so it was great having someone that I knew and trusted. And I was like, Demir, is this a no-brainer for us as far as what we want? He's like, Coach, I promise you're going to love this kid. And Jaizec has exceeded that and more.
Jaizec, let's look back at the Saints program before you got there. They finished 2019 with an 8-20 record. The 2020 season was a little improved, but there was still a 14-15 team. Then you arrive and boom, the team goes 18-3, wins its first Peach Belt Conference tournament, not only reaches its first Elite Eight, but wins a game in Evansville. Same coach, a lot of different personnel. So what do you think was the big difference?
I honestly think just all the players that he brought in. One thing that I can say like wholeheartedly is like these are the best coaches I've ever had. You're not going to find a lot of, not just the head coach, but the assistants as well. They give everything they have to this program. And coach brought in a lot of good players. And like he said, not only were they good players, but they were good people. And I think in order to have a successful team, you have to have great culture. And that's something that coach really prides himself on, is like he wants the culture to be the best it can be. And so, we're a tight group of guys. We're like a big band of brothers. And I think that's all coaches doing, just because, like he said, he recruits good players, but even better people. So I think that's the key to what happened last year and a little bit of what's happening this year.
And Coach, really the same question to you. What differences do you see? I mean, were you able to kind of, you have such a dynamic player here, and you brought in all the other pieces. Were you able to create like new offenses and just really get the most out of the players that you were bringing in?
I mean, we're not doing anything different than we were doing in year 1 and 2. We happened to take over a situation, where I think there had been one winning season in 12 years. And so we knew, and it was similar to the first program that we took over. They'd had one winning season in 20 years. It just takes time if you're going to, and everybody talks about the right way. I don't know what the right way, like everyone does things differently. Both places that we've taken over, we did not get rid of any players in year 1. I mean, we wanted, we're going to come in and sell family and relationship, and everyone's going to get an opportunity. And so we feel like if we're going to do that, we sort of need to honor what's there. Well, that in some ways sets your program back a year, because I mean, you're playing with the hand that you're dealt. So then year 2, you start getting, we changed personnel, some graduated, you bring in some young players. And we knew we had gotten better in year 2. And then that third year, we did take a big jump. First time we'd ever had a winning record in the Peach Belt. But the fourth year, which was last year, we there's no secret to it. You have to get better players. We did, but Jaizec, accelerated that and then some. Not just because he's a good player. I mean, he is a great player. He obviously is, and I mean, when we were recruiting him, I told him, I said, Jaizec, I probably have more belief in your ability than you do. But where Jaizec has really made us better, he is a better teammate and leader than he is player. And that says a lot, because he's an unbelievable player. And so I think all of a sudden we had a guy who was dynamic and could do so much. But when Jaizec is at his best, he has the unique ability to make everyone else better. And that's cliche and that's thrown around, but I mean, I've been a head coach 13 years and been in college coaching for 20 years. I can count on one hand the number of players that truly lead exceptionally and make players better. Like, it's a really rare thing. And I said this last year, and it's true again this year. I've never been on a team that so willingly defers to their leader, meaning, there's zero ego on. I mean, they want Jaizec taking big shots. He wants a big shot, but our guys now they'll take big ones if the moment is given to them, but they have absolutely no problem turning and looking to him. And again, I've done it a long time. That's rare, and I think that points to what kind of teammate he is.
Yeah, for sure. And let's talk a little bit about the character. You keep talking about the players and the teammates. Jaizec, to you, expectations obviously were different this year than they were last year, right? And then you come out and kind of a slow start. I think it was 1-2 start, and I think you're 17-1 since, right? What is that? We're talking about the character. What does that tell you, not only about your leadership, but the character of this team, that it didn't seem like there was ever a panic button, and then to have those teammates that you could trust from last year on your side?
So this year was a bit different than last year, just because we had new players, but last year we had all new players, so coach could teach us, everything at once. This year we had a lot of new players that didn't know it. So, we never really panicked because we knew what we were capable of. We knew in practices time, or when we were practicing, we knew that we were going to compete in a lot of games. But early on, it was just rough because we didn't have that chemistry yet. We weren't gelling like we are now. And so, just back in the locker room, we were talking about we can't panic right now. There's two things that we have to do. One thing is we can't compare this team to last year. This is a whole new year. This isn't the same team as last year. And two, we have to come together and we have to build this chemistry. We can't get on each other. We can't get frustrated, even though we're losing to teams we're not supposed to be losing to. And those are great teams. Don't take that win away from them. But our main focus was just, get better every day. And a saying that we go by now that coach is really prominent on is predominant on is, what is going to make the boat go faster. Everything we do in our day, if it's not helping make the boat go faster, then don't do it. And so that's one thing that we pride ourselves on, is just trying to get better every day, whether that's a little bit or a lot, and that's why earlier today I said, we got better today.
For sure.
For 2 years, you've been one of the most prolific scorers in Division II. Last year, you finished 7th in D2 with 24.4 points per game. And this year, you're in the top 15, scoring 21.9 points per game. But you also lead the team in assists and are second in rebounding. What is the Jaizec Lottie style of play, and what has transformed you into this elite scorer?
Honestly, what has transformed me is just the confidence that my coach gives me, the confidence that my teammates give me. I couldn't score. I couldn't be the player I am without them. I think confidence is a huge part of the game, because if you don't have a coach that wants to see you get better or wants to see you every day, it's going to be hard. So I'm really thankful for them, because they give me a lot of confidence. Even when I'm not making shots, my teammates, Jay, shoot that. Like, we want you to do that. And so I think that's a huge part of it. And then secondly, I just think my ability to get downhill. Coach always talks to me like I'm at my best when I'm getting downhill, because I'll either create for myself or I'll create for my other teammates. And I'm not really big. Like, I don't go out every game and say, I'm going to score 20 points tonight. I just tell myself I got to do whatever I have to do to help my team win. So if I see a man open, I'm going to make that extra pass. Or if I see a shot, I'm going to shoot it, and that just comes along with my teammates believing in me to shoot it and to make the right play.
Yeah. Yeah. One thing, and again, but this is going back to kind of within on this question, is we talk about the character. Just talking to you, Jaizec, I mean, you could tell that you have a great head on your shoulders. You made headline. We could talk all day, Bethany, about what he can do with a basketball. But this past week, you made headlines doing something simply remarkable as a human being, not a player, right? If I read it correctly, it was going to be your 40th straight start, but you deferred. You had another reason. You didn't want to start the game, and it was because of freshman Jax Bouknight. It was a very emotional night, I'm sure, for you and the team. And first, let's start with you, Jaizec. Tell us the story behind it, why you didn't start.
So after our game against Clayton State at their place, Jack's uncle came up to me. He said, I just want to let you know, because the joke on the team is Jax is my son. Like, I call him my son. And so he came up to me. He said, I know you and Jax are close. I just want to let you know his father's death anniversary is coming up, and I want you to, be there for him. So I was like, yeah, I got you. That's my guy. And so the day of the game, I wake up and I see Jax post. I was kind of expecting a post or something, and he posted on a story about his dad. And I was just sitting there thinking, like, man, like, I can't imagine what it would be like to lose my father, because my father is my biggest role model. He's pushed me to become the man I am, the person I am, and the player I am. And so I was thinking, how can I find a way to help Jax and his family get through this? And I knew we were playing in a place that was close to his home, so he would have a lot of fan and support there. And so, I told myself, I said, you know what, I'm gonna ask coach. I want him to start. So walking in the film, no, it was walking in to eat right before film. I texted coach and I said, "Hey coach, can you do me a favor?" He said, "What's that?" And I said, "You might not like it." And he said, "I'm all ears." And I said, "Can you start Jax ahead of me? Like, I don't want to start tonight." And he was like, "Yeah, if Jax is okay with that." He was like, "What's your reasoning?" And I said, "Because I know if my dad died on that day, I would want to start. I would want to do something for him to, it's bigger than basketball." And a conversation me and Jax had a while ago was he was telling me like he's never really been a bench player. Like he wasn't saying that having a problem with it. He was just saying that in the sense of he's never really been in a situation where there was better players on the team than him. And so just thinking about that, in my mind, that was the first time he was not going to be playing on that day, because all the other times he's the star of his team. He's a great player and he's playing on that day. And so I didn't want him to miss a day. I didn't want him there to be on that day. I didn't want him not to play. I didn't want him. And so I texted coach and coach was like, talk to Jax. If he's okay with it, I'm okay with it. I would love to do that. And that's how it happened.
So coach, you have your star player text you this and contact you this, and not even gameplay strategy. I'm not talking about that. Just what goes through your head about the character. Like, you've already talked about it, but just what goes through your head immediately when you hear him making this pitch for the reason that he's doing it.
We had film at 11 or 11:30, I can't remember, and we did. I mean, I was going to address with the team, just that, hey, this is the 3-year anniversary of Jax's father dying, and so we were planning on talking about it. And I can't remember if I texted Jaizec or he texted me saying, "Hey, make sure you take care of Jax today." Then that's when he says, "Hey, I got something I got something you may not like." And honestly, what he said, I was like, "Hey, if Jax is good with this, I'm great with it. I just want to make sure Jax was comfortable. It wasn't something that embarrassed him." And so then we talked about it as a team, and it was emotional. I mean, it was an emotional moment, not talking about starting, but just talking about being a team and being there for Jax. But I really wasn't. I mean, it was a big game, obviously, but I just wasn't worried, because we say all the time, I mean, I think the strength of our team is our team, and I think it's that anyone's willing to do what we need to do to be successful. And I wasn't, I just didn't really care what the implications were on the game, because I just believe, again, this wasn't, I didn't come up with this. I mean, this was Jaizec driven. This was player driven. And again, not to get Jaizec a big head, but I think people need to understand, in a 24-hour span, our team chaplain's son started his first game as a 7th grader. Jaizec sends him a video text. I didn't find out about that from Jaizec. Our chaplain tells me. The same day that we're talking about with Jax was my daughter's 16th birthday. I'm not on Instagram, but Jaizec is. My wife had posted a picture. Jaizec texted me that morning, "Hey, can I get Allie's number to wish her happy birthday?" I mean, that's 3 things in 24 hours that you just don't have a lot of. Not only do you have not a lot of college age people, but just a lot of, I mean, there's just not a lot of people that think that outward about others. And so I wasn't surprised by it. I was just thankful. And I was just like, man, this is great. And, the biggest thing that I wanted was what Jaizec wanted, is Jax to know that he was loved and that he had a place that was safe and it was okay to hurt. And life is broken. And part of what is great about a team sport when it functions properly is that you can be broken with each other. And so really that was, the truth of the matter is, we actually ran the first play for Jax. I mean, Jax is a good basketball player. He's just on a team with 5 seniors. But it wasn't like we were putting me in there. I mean, this kid can play. And, so I was, and it was neat. I mean, Jax did, he had about 10 people there, and family was there, and they were sitting right behind the bench. And it was just something that, it wasn't, I mean, it's just not premeditated. It's not phony. Like, it's just who Jax is. It's who Jaizec is. And I hope it's who, as a collective team, we're trying to be. I mean, I say all the time, like, we're not perfect. These guys are not perfect. Their coach certainly isn't, but they're good guys, and they try to do things. They try to do what we ask. And as a coach, you're just thankful for that, and not much more I can really articulate than that.
So Jaizec, you talked about how it happened, but why? Like, why do you put such an emphasis on, trying to make someone else's day better? Your coach talked about not only that situation, but just texting his daughter a simple thing, or texting the chaplain's son. Like, why do you focus on that so much?
I mean, the cliche thing would be to say like that's how I was raised, but ultimately, in my mind, how I think is like you never know what someone's going through. You never know how they're feeling. You never know what emotions they hold, and so being kind is the easiest thing we can do in life. And so just to think about others, I'm always thinking about how can I make their day better. Like my goal every day is to make at least one person smile, at least one person's day better, because whether that's talking to them, giving them a thumbs up, saying good job, or my teammates, something so little can change someone's life. And I've been through that, high school. I've had a lot of people, some other stuff that I want to get into just always coming to me. And so just in my mind, I'm always thinking like, hey man, like someone may be going through and you don't know. So always do what's right. And my coach always says, if I'm saying it right, he says, we're all doing the right thing all the time. What do you say, coach?
Do the next right thing. I don't know.
Yeah, he always says something like that, but I just, my mom always says I wear my heart on my sleeve, and that's just who I am. And I have a brand that I've made. It's Be You, and that's what I want everyone to be, is just always be themselves, no matter the circumstance, no matter who's around, no matter who's watching. If you're always yourself, then you're winning in life.
Well, you're succeeding today, because I feel better just talking to you.
I know.
I definitely have a smile on my face listening to your story and to your team. So you're succeeding in your goal for the day. I can tell you that.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Well, you kind of hit the nail on the head. We always ask, what makes D2 so special, but I think the story with your teammate Jax and all the other things you do kind of show that in the best way possible. But why is D2 special?
I think at any level, D1, D2, D3, NAI, I think it's so special because, you get to compete with people who are more than friends, like these are my brothers. These are people that I'm going to remember for the rest of my life. And so I think just competing at any level is so special because you get to commit yourself to something that's bigger than yourself. And ultimately, at the end of the day, being a part of the team is probably the best thing that's ever happened to me in my life, whether it's this team, Little Rock's team, my AAU team, just having those people I can always count on, that's something that's I hold special to my heart. And I know Coach does too.
Well, Coach, what's so special about being a D2 coach? I mean, we can ask the same question to you, really.
I mean, the one thing I was sort of thinking about earlier tonight, like here we are, we play on the road Wednesday at Georgia Southwestern. It's a pretty long trip. Then we turn around and go to Aiken on Saturday, and we're in the middle of this grind, and we're having a great year. But you have a lot of logistics and things to work out. We're not hopping on a charter plane. We got a charter bus, but and having to figure out how we're going to travel. How do we, what gives us the best chance to win? What gives these guys the best chance to succeed in the classroom? How can we make it work financially? Those are just things that maybe are a little bit easier to navigate at a higher level with maybe a bigger resources and things like that just allow you to problem solve at a different level. And I think the thing that I appreciate, like we're going to practice in the morning, get on the bus and go spend time in the hotel. And again, I've coached at every single level except junior college. I've coached high school, NAI, D2, D3, D1. The amount of time that I get with our players is special. And it's something that I love. I love that my family gets to be a part of it. I just think it provides a little bit more of an opportunity and atmosphere for us to truly sort of ingratiate our lives into everything that they do.
Yeah. And our own Bethany Bowman was a D2 student athlete, so she always shares that common bond when we get to interview. And she always says the same. It's always the same thing, and it's just great to hear it from other people. But that was the easy part of the show, just so you guys know, because now comes the D2 Nation hot seat. This is where we put you. They're really quick, rapid questions, but we're going to just have a little bit of fun and close out the show and get to know you for our listeners. So, Bethany, let's get them started.
Yep, I'll get it started. We'll start easy. Who's your favorite basketball team and player? Jaizec, you go first.
No, I like the Denver Nuggets because that's where I'm from. And my favorite basketball player is Jamal Crawford. He's not in the league right now, but that's my guy. He's my favorite basketball player.
Nice. Coach, are you going to age yourself here?
Yeah, Flagler Saints is my favorite basketball team, and Jack Warner, my almost 12-year-old son, is hands down my favorite basketball player.
One of the best answers we've ever had right there. Okay, they get a little harder here. What's the best, Jaizec, we'll start with you again, best sports movie of all time?
Love and Basketball, easy.
Oh, that was easy. Coach, how about you? Not in your head.
Hoosiers, not even close.
I love it. That I mean, you're a basketball coach. You don't have a choice answering it that way.
Okay, so I'm going to switch this up a little bit for each of you, but to start out, Jaizec, what is in your headphones pregame?
Talking about like artists?
Yeah.
Or song or, whatever.
It's crazy. I always listen to the same songs at the same moments. So I start off with Polo G, and then I go to Gunna. And then after Gunna, I just freestyle, just play whatever. But Polo G and Gunna, those are my go-to.
Okay, Coach. So if you had the choice and you weren't trying to please the guys and you could play some music over the speaker at practice, what would you be playing?
Polo G and Gunna.
No.
Hey, Jaizec's laughing because every day something's playing. I'm like, hey, who is this? And they always lie to me. They never give me a straight answer about who's playing, so I don't know. I'm pretty easy with music. As long as it's upbeat and gets us going in the right direction, I don't care what it is. Just bring some energy. That's all I care about.
I love it. Coach, we'll start with you on this one, but the same question for you both. It will be coach and player. If you weren't a basketball coach, what career would you be doing?
I would want to be doing something where I was involved in a team, something that involved, where I could sort of use whatever skill set I've been given, but something where is interactive with a lot of other people.
And Jaizec, if it wasn't for basketball, what would you be pursuing right now?
I would be pursuing something that to help kids. I really love kids. I love being around kids. They give me energy. So something just to help kids. Yeah. You
are definitely a future coach of something. There's no doubt in my mind the way that you want to help others and with your skill set and knowledge, you're definitely a coach somewhere down the road.
Right. Hopefully I'll be working for Coach Warner one day.
I would love it.
What is your major?
Business marketing.
Okay. Well, next question. What is one food that you can't live without?
Me or Jaizec?
We'll go with you first, Coach.
Sour gummy bears.
Nice. I love those.
I'm going to say steak. I love steak.
Yeah. Okay, so last question, and you made it through. If you could have the superpower of flying or being invisible, Jaizec, we'll go to you. Which one would you choose?
Flying. I'll fly. Then you can go anywhere, anytime you want.
Yeah. Coach, how about you?
Invisible. I'd be the greatest recruiter ever. I would know every button to push. I would know what other people were thinking. I'd have every game plan. Hands down, invisible.
Great answer. That is a great answer.
Jaizec mentioned having a brand. Is there t-shirts, anything that we can put a plug in with this? Because now with the NLI things, I don't think we have to worry about that anymore.
Oh, so go for it.
Can people get some merch or anything like that?
Yeah, I actually have some merchandise dropping very soon, but the website is BeTheBestYou.store.
There you go.
BeTheBestYou.store.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, cool.
I love it. There's your business marketing right there.
I feel like we've been building the Jaizec brand for about the past 25 minutes, especially when he said he just wants to do something to help children. My goodness. I'm like,
I like to, I actually got to coach some of the girls that come and support us every day. So I love helping kids.
He did.
That's awesome.
It's all legit. It's who he is. And the BU shirts that he's, that he sells online. They're great. I mean, it's a great logo, and a lot of people around town have bought them. And I actually have one too. I was one of the first ones to get it. I didn't have to pay for mine though.
VIP style.
That's right. That's right.
Well, look, we thank you. So this was seriously one, just a great story. It was so great to have you both on, and we thank you so much for giving us a few minutes of your time. I know, like you said, you got a game to prep for on Wednesday. So again, thank you so much, and good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, and thank you for all y'all do. I mean, you're working, you burn the candle at both ends, and I follow you on Twitter. I really appreciate the work y'all put out to get these guys recognition. So thank you both very much.
We love it, and thank you for noticing, and we appreciate that. But remember, D2 Nation, before we go, we're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, YouTube, and anywhere you want to listen or watch a podcast. Give us a follow, go to our Twitter page, and we'll see you next week on the D2 Nation.